Why hello everyone, Spencer here, also known as ScreenSpeak. And in today's video, this is my Terrifier 3 spoiler review. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, so let's get things started here. So I had an absolute blast with this film. I don't care what anybody says. This is the ultimate film that I love. This is where horror really works for me. And I know it's all subjective. And I actually watched, I think his name might have been Adam. I could be totally... no, it was Dan Murrell. Not Adam. Dan Murrell. I don't watch him religiously, but I watched one of his reviews. I watched his review on... I see him pop up now and again. I watched his review on Terrifier 3, and this wasn't his thing. That's okay. This, however, is the franchise... I love the Michael Myers Halloween franchise. They come and go, but I like their move. I like Michael Myers going off and killing people. This is this is right underneath there. For the blood, for the kills, I am here for Terrifier. I cannot wait for more. And I put out my post on Instagram. Make sure to check that out, of the poster and what I thought. And I gave this film... by the way, I'm changing my scoring. I'm going to do, like, letter scores. I feel like I've heard people say, mainly John Campia go, that 10 out of 10 is so biased. Like, and I agree with that. I feel like if you're going to give a 10 out of 10 movie, like, a score... Like, for me, Deadpool and Wolverine was a 10 out of 10. For me, Dune was a 10 out of 10. But even then again, like, it's so subjective what I think a 10 out of 10 is. So I'm going to give, like, letter scores from now on. And Terrifier 3 is an A+. Spoiler alert, it's an A+. I gave it an A+. So, that's that. I should have done my rating at the end, but whatever. So, that's how I felt about it. I put that in my review, or in my post. But this... Terrifier 2 had a lot of great kill scenes, but in my opinion, it was drawn out. I liked it a lot, but it felt to other people that are horror fans that, you know, don't like this sort of stuff. Like, oh, we got a new Terrifier, and it did really, really well. But in this sense, and 2, it felt like gore scene after gore after kill after kill after gore, and it didn't work for a lot of people. It worked for me because I was into what the subject matter was. But for people like, okay, I'm enough, like, enough. I feel like, you know, for a 2.5 hour movie in the second one, it was like, ugh. I, you know, like that sort of stuff. Here, it's 2 hours. It's not as long. It's not 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it's also not as gory. It's gory, but it's not as kill scene after kill scene after kill scene. There's emotion, there's character depth, which I really quite like that. With this story, I never watched the first one. I watched the Real Rejects react to the first one, and I was like, okay, that was enough for me. I don't need to go sit down and actually watch the first film. I got enough context from their reaction. And then I watched the second one when it came out years ago, and I rewatched it before watching 3, like, a couple weeks ago. So I rewatched Smile 1 and then Terrifier 2. So going into Terrifier 3, I was so amped up about the Christmas vibes, and this worked for me. If you guys know, I may or may not have talked about this, the movie Violent Night. That is my version of when I saw Violent Night, I was like, this is John Wick mixed with Die Hard, perfect Christmas movie, right? That came out at Christmas time. This, Terrifier 3, is a horror film that came out at Halloween, during the month of October, that has Christmas moments, that takes place at Christmas. It works for me. It's like the dream come true. Like, people love Krampus. I'm like, this is what a Christmas horror is all about. I'm watching this every Halloween, every Christmas. I'm going to watch this movie again on Christmas. Oh, it's so good, and I loved it. It's like, they did... The director, I love the director, and he takes the perfect elements of horror and just takes the holidays and perfectly mixes them together. It's great. The score, I love the Halloween, or not the Halloween, I love the use of musical beats in the movie itself. And like I said, Christmas came early this year, so I was so happy about that. And like I've said before, the Christmas kills, like, they work. They really work. And especially, like, again, this is a spoiler review. Like I said, it's not as drawn out as number 2. But there's WTF moments in this. And specifically what I mean by WTF moments, there's some in the finale kill section, like the finale battle. But the first moment, or I'm going to talk about the first scene in a moment, but the WTF moment that I went, whoa! Like, that's not what I was expecting. Was when they're in the mall. And there's a couple moments in the mall. But first, Sienna sees... By the way, I like Sienna. I think she's kind of cute. And then when she's talking with the daughter... By the way, not the daughter, the niece. I think it was her niece. Or cousin. Because her Uncle Greg picked her up. By the way, I have an Uncle Greg, so I was kind of like, oh, okay. Uncle Greg and the aunt... Like, the uncle picked him up from the airport. Her up, Sienna. And they go back to the house. She's like, oh, Gabby is so excited to see you. And I'm like, oh, who's this? So I assumed it was a cousin. And they got along really well. It reminded me of, me interacting here at college, like, new friends, like getting to know friends really well and, like, knowing them just for like years, or growing up, like, with friends for, like, years, and acting like having... I don't have actual siblings, but I call my one friend here sister. And, like... It really, to me, it's like having friends that are close to you, like you can call brother and sister, like that type of thing. And it seemed like here, I think they were cousins, but they seemed so close they could have been sisters type of a thing. Like, oh, you've been gone for so long. Now maybe they were cousins. I don't know. Again, it felt weird to me watching it because I was like, oh, this is the first time I've seen these two characters interact, and I was like, the way they're talking, they're having these dialogue moments of like, oh, it feels like I should have known who this character was, who Gabby was in the last movie, but that's okay. By the way, before I talk about the one WTF moment, I have to mention Jonathan. Well, I'll get to him later in the finale, but I just hit my nose. But I liked his arc. His arc in number 2 was so good, and I was so excited to see him again, and I hope that he has more to do in the next one, in number 4, which they're working on. I'll talk about more. But I feel like Sienna and him need to work together again to take them down Art the Clown. Because I there's definitely more. But yeah, anyway. So they're in the mall. Sienna and Gabby are in the mall, and she sees Art the Clown. By the way, Art the Clown killing Santa with, like, freezing him. Oh, so good. Like, freezing the rats and then freezing Santa. Oh, man, those kills are gnarly, dude. And then, that'd be a way to go. But then you, I messed that up big time. Messed it up big time. I did it again. So, they're in then she sees Art the Clown walking with a Santa mask. I'm like, whoa, crazy. There he is. And so he goes to be the mall Santa, like we all see in the trailer. He goes to be the mall Santa. And the guy's like, that guy's freaking me out. And Mom's like, that Santa's freaking me out. Like, yeah, he's freaking me out too. Like, that's not our small Santa. So they kick Art out, right? Out of the Santa area. And literally, as kids are opening up the presents, I'm like, oh, these are cool. Like, I thought they were going to be scary toys, but they're real toys. Like, like Nightmare Before Christmas type of a deal. Like, you open up the present and it's not really a toy. They're toys, and then the mom goes up to the one with the kid, and, like, a big explosion goes off. And I'm like, what? What? They just blew up the entire Christmas section where Santa Claus was, and I was like, that's not what I was expecting. First WTF moment. Then we get to... I have to, like, rewind here back to the beginning of the movie. So, there's a moment, the first 10 minutes, 9 people walked out of a screening because there's a child kill scene. Okay, so I have to be real with you here. So, I don't get grossed out or scared a lot about, like, with horror. Pennywise can be scary. Chucky's a little scary. Slappy from Goosebumps is scary, personally. But I don't, like, get weirded out or grossed out. I'm just like, I really am invested in these things. And when I heard that people were walking out, I'm like, what can be that bad from Terrifier? Like, if you were grossed out from number 2, what are you walking out of? And then I heard about it, and then I watched it, and I'm like, okay, but that was an off-screen kill. That was an off-screen kill. And Same thing when I'm going to talk about later. There's an off-screen kill, but I'm going to talk about that specifically. This child kill was off-screen. There were sound effects, and then furthermore, you didn't see the kill happen. And then you saw the body parts. But to me, if I actually saw that happen, like, people, again, going back to Dan Murrell, he's like, he has kids of his own, and again, I want kids of my own someday. I don't want that to happen. And theoretically, Art the Clown doesn't exist. I don't want there to be serial killers coming out like, Michael Myers or Art the Clown coming and killing my kids. They don't exist. But knowing that this happened in a fictional movie, I don't know, like, when people, like, it's fine. It's all subjective. You can walk out of a movie, but when you go to a movie called Terrifier, if you don't know what the first two are about, and you're like, now, I understand, Art the Clown shouldn't be killing kids, or these, like, Michael Myers doesn't kill kids, but if you're going to a movie where you know that there's kills going to be happening, and you're like, oh, shit, like, what do you expect? I'm sorry. That's just me personally, but and it was off screen. If they showed it actually happening, then I could see having a problem with it. I may or may not have a problem with it. It would differ if it did actually happen on screen. That's just my point of reference. That's just my point of view. So, and I'm not rooting for him, like, yay, kill kids. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that because it happened off screen, I was a little bit more lenient about it. So that's just me. That's fine. And then when you see the kid, I was kind of questioning this moment when he kills the parents in the beginning, and then you see the girl in the cupboard, cabinet, whatever you want to call it, and then it cuts to the Terrifier 3 logo. In my personal head canon, I go, oh, he's going to kill the child. Or she could have just made it out alive. Because he's like, this, and then, like, just it cuts to the Terrifier logo. So I was wondering, oh, did he kill her? Did he not kill her? It's all up to your imagination. But to me, I wanted to pretend that she made it out of there alive. So that's just me on that. So going to the finale, there are so many great kills. Like I said, Santa Claus, and specifically before he kills Santa, the scene where Art, before he gets the Santa outfit, I like that the whole movie wasn't Christmas. There were like some moments where he wasn't in a Santa outfit. Him and the girl Vicky. I'm so glad they brought Vicky back, because I probably wasn't even going to mention this. I'm glad that she was involved in helping Art in this movie. I was a little bit confused from the second movie where that little girl was, because I was like, okay, so was she just completely pointless to number 2 and, like, not the future? Is she coming back? Like, now, she could have just been used for part 2 and not going to come back. But it was cool that they brought Vicky back to help Art the Clown, but I was like, where's Vicky? Or not where's Vicky, where's the little girl? So, I don't know. But yeah, in the bathtub scene when Vicky and Art are in the house, and the little, like, not the little, but the cop, construction dudes are walking around with flashlights, I was like, are they cops? Are they detectives? Are they construction workers? Because they had, like, these on, like, green coats or yellow vests, like neon yellow vests. I'm like, oh, okay, what are you, construction? And going through the house here, maybe I don't know, maybe they're going to fix up the house. So they come to the house, and Vicky, like, stabs her arm, right? Like cuts her arm. And I'm like, no, just don't do that anymore. Stop it. Like, I know it's a horror film, but I'm like, stop it. She's in the bath, and she's, like, taking a blood bath, and then she's covered in goo, and then she just does this all-out kill on the one construction dude. And it was gnarly. But then she goes to meet Art the Clown in the room he's in, and she's perfectly clean. I'm like, well, but she was covered in, like, blood goop in the bath, and then next thing you know, she's clean. Like, did she take a normal bath? Did she take a normal shower? How did she get clean from being covered in blood goop? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to analyze it. It's a horror movie. I'm not going to here to analyze. But I'm like, boop, magic. She's clean now. I don't know how about that happened. But that was gnarly. I love that. I love all the kills. And to be honest with you, before I get to the finale and stuff, like I said, my rating is this is so good. It made it an A+ for me. A+ horror movie. But the finale, he comes to the house. Oh, yeah. The shower scene. This is up there. Like, if you guys have not seen the movie Psycho, I watched Psycho for the first time this semester. for my movie class, and there's a iconic shower scene in that. But this one, like, I just want to show people again. There's blood in it. There's blood in this shower scene, as opposed to Psycho, which works very nicely for the time frame. But like, as a horror fan, I had to like go, oh, this shower scene was so good, dude. And to be honest with you, a shower scene compared to Psycho, this was amazing horror. And then tied to with a Christmas vibe, oh, it was even better, dog. And I'm like, dog. But I'm like, it was so good. I'm like, this film was awesome. And I'm like, I love that Sean Chandler has talked to the director, because I'm like, I love this director. I love what he's doing with this movie. So there's that. But the shower scene was great. And then he takes the boyfriend. Oh, the shower scene was done with the boyfriend and the girlfriend. The girlfriend was so into the relationship, or the history of what happened to Sienna and her brother Jonathan. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then the boyfriend's like, stop. I felt bad for the boyfriend when he was just like, he just wanted to like have boyfriend-girlfriend time, and she's like talking about the history of the clown defeating Sienna. I'm like, I was like, bro, this boyfriend, I feel bad for him. And then they're in the shower. You can use your imagination on what they were doing. And then Art the Clown just kills them both and takes the chainsaw when the boyfriend's on the ground and up his butthole. I'm like, what a way to go. A chainsaw up the butt. All right. Great kill. But then the finale, he takes the boyfriend that he chainsawed up the butt, takes him on the wall, and puts ho 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 on the wall. I'm like, that's great. And then Sienna just, Sienna's tied up. Well, she tries to beat him. And then you see the mom of Gabby, which is the aunt of Sienna, and Sienna tied up on a chair. And Gabby, they take Gabby out. Well, they first have this skull, and they say it's Gabby's head, right? I think they kill Uncle Greg, if I'm not mistaken, which is a darn shame. Rest in peace, Uncle Greg. But then they say it's Gabby's head. Vicky's like, it's Gabby's head. And they're like, no. It's not Gabby's head. Gabby's over here. It's Jonathan's head. And I'm like, okay, that's a little cheap shot, because they wouldn't have just done Jonathan dirty like that, because they did go to the college, or the campus. I don't know if he's in college, or I was a little confused. I'm like, he doesn't look old enough for college. I wonder if it's like a community college campus. It might be like high school. Like, he's like just done with high school, going to community college. Don't know. Like, I did some community college in high school, so there's that for you. But I'm like, they wouldn't have done a cheap shot like that and just killed off Jonathan. They'd be like, oh, they would have shown it on screen, because like normally horror, like if they don't show it on screen, he's probably still alive. So I like that. I have a feeling he's still alive. So it was a funny moment there, and just the way they defeat Art, or they don't defeat Art. He's still the way like Sienna kills him with the sword, because Gabby gave her a sword for Christmas. Like, stabs Art. And then there's this big portal that Gabby falls into. I'm like, maybe to hell? Where does she go? And Vicky falls down to... You all float down here to Georgie. No. But I'm like, where does she go? I'm like, alright, are we going to discover more of this in part 2? Or part 4, I mean? So I'm like, interesting. I love the ending. That was another WTF. And I'm like, what the hell? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm a little confused. I got some questions. But overall, I loved it, and it seemed like it seemed to be setting up stuff, but it didn't say like to be continued. But we know there's going to be another one, so I definitely like this movie a lot. This is an A+ for me. Terrifier 2 was an A+ for me. Again, I don't think when I watched the Real Rejects talking about the first one, or reacting to the first one, I don't think that was an A+. I think that's just a B horror film. But I'm so glad they made a second one, because that was an A+. This one's an A+. Definite horror Christmas combo, perfect Christmas horror film. It's so good. I loved it. This is where I shine. Like, not all Christmas movies need to be horror, but when they do stuff like this, nice. Loved it. So that's it for me, guys. A+ film, A+ horror. Great stuff. I recommend it to you. If you like this sort of stuff, if you like slashers, if you like a lot of gore and blood, highly recommend you should check it out. But if you're not into this stuff, if you're not into the all-out gore fest, don't watch it. Go on. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm expired. I'm so done. I'm so broke. Not really. I'm excited to see Smile 2 this weekend. That's more of like a psychological, head-thinking movie, horror film. So if you're wanting something not bloody and gory, go watch Smile. Recommend watching Smile 2. Check that one out. And I'll get back to you guys next week for Smile 2. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It's down below. Be sure to follow me. Follow me at Boba Fett Jedi Master. Instagram link is down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me, and as always, guys, subscribe to Screen Speak family. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm, watch the screen. Peace out, everyone. Bye.